Welcome friends, welcome to this video. My name is Anthony, I'm a channeler of KALASK. And in this video I wish to talk about one of the Alpha Draconian pure blood races, certified war race, in one of the 6 layers of the entirety of their empire that is not known to the humans. And no one's ever channeled these beings, and I have not channeled these beings. I will not channel these beings. They're quite powerful with their large consciousness and very, very high ranking in the empire itself. They're not really a race that have been talked about by other humans ever before. And it's the race that I've spoken several different times as I've had an honor and absolute privilege to interact with them, to meet them, someone that have been extremely petrifying to look at, but a race that have never harmed me. And it's not in the code of honor in the Alpha Draconian groups to harm humans. It's not what they do. But the race that I'm referring to is the race called the DE-MON-GA. And the DE-MON-GA is a very, very ancient name of these beings, and they were present within the Earth's collective. Many, many moons ago, they were present in the area that we today can look at a map called Egypt, and etc. And at that time when they came, they fought some wars on our behalf to defend us humans. And the local population at that time, who witnessed them, who saw them, and who saw just the level of incredible evil that they've created because the level of wars that they fought. And these beings fight wars that they win. They fight wars where they don't lose. But because their wars are very quick, very precise, very sharp, very brutal, they take no prisoners. What the local population saw was just a bunch of draconian beings coming down with wings and horns, battling the enemy, and the war would end very quickly. And when the local population at that time asked these beings, like, who are you guys, and where are you guys from, and where did you come from, what is your name? The name given was the DE-MON-GA. Ultimately, many years after, the secret societies, as well as corrupted humans, as well as religions, as well as mistranslations in the texts, so centuries, years, death after one human, somebody else takes over the information and misreads it or doesn't translate it properly, and then they write their own version of the story, and then that person dies and the death occurs, and then somebody else finds the text, and then they write their own story, and eventually mistranslations of this name occurred. Religions scare us with a variety of different things. The existence of hell, which doesn't exist. The existence of Satan, which doesn't exist. And one of the things that they scare us about, they scare us with, and as a former Christian, I was scared by this term myself, and that's the term of demons. And we're always told in scary movies, there are all these little demons walking around, Satan's sons and Satan's children, and we're going to go burn in hell. And the radical programming that's so primitive, it's not even worth my breath or energy. But the local population at that time, when they witnessed these draconian beings named the DE-MON-GA, they have written it in the best way that they could. So when we hear that name, that is the name that today we know as the demons, the demon race, the DE-MON-GA race. They're not demons. They're just a powerful, mighty, and extremely, extremely respected warriors within the Alpha Draconian Empire. And they live in a star called Algo, and our Google, our space shuttle agencies, and NASA, and etc. will tell us that the Algo is the demon star. So of course, because human race loves titles, they love to label something and say, okay, here's a label, we figured it out. But human population have not figured out anything in relation to do any constellations. Majority of the time, and in my perspective, 90-95% of the time, we're lied to constantly in relation to what the Google says, what the space agencies say. So in this video itself, I wish to talk about this powerful race that I've had an honor to meet, and a couple different times, even prior to meeting them and completing my assignments with them before I became a channeler of KALASK. One of the things they've done once is to test me in the astral state. So they have taken a temporary form of my father and my mother, my biological parents here on Earth. And they have inserted themselves in one of my astral states. And this was a perfect insertion, what we would refer to as an avatar. And I remember running into my parents and I was like, hey mom, hey dad, what are you guys doing here? And we were talking about vacations, and we were talking about certain vacations we've taken as a family. And I remember in that dream state, my father was acting weird, strange. And my mother was acting weird. They said certain words they would never say. And I remember looking at them and I said, hold on a second, why are you saying that word? That's not what you do, it's not what you say. It's out of your character to say that. And once I applied the reptilian mental warfare, which is a third eye energy, and a couple other tools I've been taught by Theta Tauri and others, I realized that the father and the mother I was looking at were not my parents. So I became enraged. And I said, who are you? Show yourself, show your true self. And they did, and they were the DE-MON-GA's hybrids, two male hybrids. Pretty big, pretty tall, 9 to 10 foot tall, extremely menacing and petrifying to look at. And I said, why are you pretending to me my parents? Have you harmed my parents? And they said, no, we haven't, we would never do that. We were sent by the DE-MON-GA. We wanted to see how you'll react. Will you speak against us? Will you trash our name? Will you disrespect our name? What will you do? How will you react? How strong you are? So this is the first time I believe I've gained the respect by the DE-MON-GA group, because they knew I wouldn't speak against them. I respected them. And I held my own. Another couple of times I've dealt with the DE-MON-GA race. And these are winged beings. They're extremely menacing to look at, and very, very powerful ancient draconians. But they really dumbed down their intensity. And one of the hybrids came up to me once, and he placed his hand on my shoulder, large hand with claws on my shoulder, and he simply just said in the astral state, so this was 6th density state, so it's an integrated 4th, 5th, and 6th density state combined with my own consciousness as a human. And he said something along the lines, which is written in my book. He said, you're doing pretty good for a human, like you're handling us really well. We're surprised. We didn't think humans are worthy to even look at. Respect is earned here, and you will have our respect, but keep coming back. There's something that's going to be really good for you, so keep coming back. We'll teach you all that we know. And going back 2-3 years, I've never, ever seen them disrespect me once, harm me once in any way. And which brings up another conversation of just radical propaganda and radical fear porn and radical nonsense, the foolish nonsense of love, light, unicorn, and rainbow type of speakers that are proposing ideas that draconians beings kill humans, eat humans, and none of this is true, of course. Humans are filled with fear themselves so much that they cut themselves off at the knees, as KALASK says, to even advance somewhere, to grow somewhere. And the reason why a lot of ETs don't even like us, they tolerate us to a degree, is just because we're filled with hate and rage and fear. We'll look at a group of extraterrestrials, and I've heard many people say this to me. They said, oh, I don't want to talk to an insectoid, a mantis. They'll kill humans. I'm like, where'd you get this information from? Like, who's feeding you this puke nonsense? But in this video, I'll dedicate it to the DE-MON-GA race, the Alpha Draconian 6th density war race. I give them my respect. I give them my appreciation, to the elderly members that I've spoken with and the hybrids that they sent my way. As menacing as they are, there is definitely a spot in my heart for them, as I've seen the true and powerful warriors that they are. And I've asked KALASK if they can share any information about DE-MON-GA that they wish, if they're allowed to, what they wish to say about their friends. They're a very friendly race with one another. So enjoy this video, as KALASK will be speaking about the DE-MON-GA race. We'll speak about the groups that Anthony's asked us to speak about. We'll speak about this group everyone is very much petrified of, because you know them as something different. We'll explain the groups within the book of Anthony's project he's written, the group he talks about as the DE-MON-GA. This is a group of beings, group of certified war races within the Draconian Empire, within the 6th layer. Closest to us, dear friends of our own, even though that term friends lacks integrity. DE-MON-GA is one of the most petrifying races of draconians that exist within our own collective. Very, very dark black skin, 12, 20, 30 feet tall, large span of wings. Some of these beings are so wide that humans cannot even have a point of reference, even if you compared your own Hollywood movies. This is something that human beings mistaken due to the lies of your religions as the demons. You always see the demons depicted within your movies and your religions, including the pathetic, worthless concept of what you are scared of called Satan, which isn't real or doesn't in any way exist. So you can let that fear go, shed it out, release that. These beings, when they walked the earth, they came to battle, they came to defend humans.
And human beings witnessed this and saw the level of evil they created, the level of war, the genocide they created, as they knew how to. And the humans said, "Who are you?" And they said, "We are the DEMON-GA." That text, those depictions, and were then stolen from the members of secret societies, etc., etc., eventually landed into the, what is this good term, the mafia humans who created your religions and then scared you with it, control you with it to this day. And they told you that there is a bad boogeyman in the hell that waits for you with horns if you don't listen to us, pay us your energy, pay us your taxes, etc., etc. So the DEMONGA race is wrongfully depicted, wrongfully talked about. One of the aspects within this human's growth, an introduction within the Alpha Draconian Empire, the Alpha Draconis, as he calls it, is that he's had the honor, the privilege, the prestigious opportunity to meet these demons, these DEMONGA. This was arranged by his own sponsors of Theta, not by us. He's met the DEMONGA before us. The program of DEMONGA speaks of, it is that program, graduation, as human beings say, that impressed the DEMONGA race, and they allowed him a prestigious opportunity to ask them 3 questions. The questions he asked them, we won't share, they're personal, to his own growth, but they've allowed him the open conversation, the open ticket. So he sends them the gratitude of appreciation from time to time. And then we brought them to him in the astral state during our own vetting process, of which human we're going to be channeling next 2.5 years ago. During that process, we brought the DEMONGA intentionally to scare him, to petrify him to a degree, to see if we can actually scare him enough to push him away. For him to be so scared of us and so scared of the Draconians in general, to see perhaps he'll turn to Jesus, he'll turn to the religions, he'll turn to the Pleiadians or something, but he didn't. He picked up himself, the rinsing off the dust, as humans say, and came back and he said, "Give me more." This is something we appreciated. This is something we saw he has the willpower to train with us, to spend time with us. And we knew this already because of the time he spent working with the other sponsors, working with the other reptilians, from Boetes to even Rigel, to other ones from Capella to the Earth's collective. Humans called the Earth reptilians, but they're not. They're our hybrids. So the DEMONGA is a race that is very secretive, isn't a race that someone's ever channeled. And it will not be a race that someone will channel. These beings are interested in pleasing humans and catering to human sensitive and weak and pretentious needs. These humans exist in their own peace, and they exist within the area humans know as the demon star, D-Algo, A-L-G-O. This is something mentioned in the book Anthony wrote, In My Path to Thuban, and this is also something that the DEMONGA group appreciates, that they were painted and spoken of in a proper light, in a proper description, with proper level of appreciation and respect. This is all we'll say about this group, and now we'll move forward to the other group we were asked about.